Spirit of a champion in association with Rolex.
An artist whose play borders on the sublime, Roger Federer has already cemented his reputation as one of the finest players in tennis history. The most successful Grand Slam champion to have played the game, Federer can also now be regarded as its greatest. He joins the likes of Rod Laver, Bjorn Borg, John McEnroe, and Pete Sampras, players whose exploits are woven into the fabric of the game. An emotional first victory at the French Open and a sixth title at Wimbledon are just the latest highlights of a trophy-laden career. For Roger Federer, 2009 has been a most significant season, both on and off the court.
Well, obviously it's been very special going sort of through the pregnancy, you know, with my wife, and going through so many things on a personal level, then, you know, the birth of our children and staying focused on tennis and having all the success I've had, you know. I couldn't be more happy now, you know, looking back at 2009 and knowing that I finished #1 in the world again for the 5th time.
The 2009 season secured his position as the most successful men's player of all time, and in the eyes of many, its greatest. His success in 2009 is all the more significant because 2008 was one of the most difficult seasons of his career. Despite reaching 3 Grand Slam finals, winning 1, some commentators were beginning to question his powers.
It's criticizing at the highest of levels, which then again is actually to a degree almost very respectful, you know, that they say I'm in a crisis being second in the world. I was able to handle it. I believed in my team because I also believed that even as an individual athlete, team effort is required, you know, and I'm happy I believed and it paid off at the end, so it's fantastic.
In 2009, a fitter, more determined Federer travelled to the Australian Open with renewed optimism.
Going into Australian Open, I was feeling, though, really good again after having won the big one at the US Open. And at Grand Slams, normally, you know, my game comes back. You know, I can always play my best over there. And at the Australian, I always play so well anyway that I was actually confident I was going to win the tournament.
For Federer, the prize was a 14th Grand Slam title in his 18th final. And the opportunity to match Pete Sampras' record tally of slams. But in his way stood his nemesis. A Federer-Nadal duel is the high point in tennis. And once again, these two champions didn't disappoint, producing another 5-set epic.
It was a great battle, first of all, you know. It was the crowd, the intensity between the two of us, and my game was back on. was playing well too, and sure, he's my big rival. I knew it was going to be a good finals. I thought I was going to win, but unfortunately it didn't come through. He played great and deserved the win in the end.
For the 11th time in 15 finals between the two, it was the Spaniard who emerged victorious. Before the watching rod laver, the emotion of the occasion was too much for Federer.
Maybe I'll try later again. I don't know. God, it's killing me. Sure, I was sad, but I didn't expect myself breaking down like that, It's really only when you hit the podium, you have to speak, and all of a sudden you realize, I'm actually more disappointed than I thought I was, or I just wish I was not here. It just hit me really hard, because maybe I wanted it too much.
He was raised the bar so high for himself, and he was so dominant for so many years. I mean, he was winning the majors with ease, and all of a sudden he faced a guy that could move as well as he could, that was mentally very strong. And this guy, he's just an animal, Nadal is, and I just think he felt like, wow, I'm not the best player in the world.
Some people then thought, it was like, oh, this is definitely the end for him and stuff. I was surprised to hear that, because I was just sort of really sad for an hour, and after that you kind of move on, and you're like, this was actually a good match and a good tournament for me, and I'm looking forward to what's about to come. The support I've received, not only just from Switzerland, but obviously around the world, they've always been very helpful and very respectful, even when the times then when it was getting a little bit tougher, But they came out and supported me in a big way. For me to receive that kind of a support is very motivating for what's to come.
Madrid is one of the few places where Federer fans are in the minority. But when the Swiss champion presented himself on Rafael Nadal's home ground, he did so better prepared than ever before. For almost 18 months, Federer had been second best to the Spaniard, but all that was to end in Madrid. A tenacious, aggressive performance gained Federer a straight sets win, only his second ever victory over Nadal on clay.
It's a great win, but I don't go crazy over a win like this. Sure, I mean, he's the #1 player in the world. He's the best on clay. It's in Spain. You can get euphoric about such a win, sure. But for me, it's about knowing that my game is back on. That was, for me, the answer I needed from Madrid.
Paris in the springtime. Delightful for most, but the source of a great deal of tennis heartbreak for Roger Federer. Despite dominating the other Grand Slam events, victory on the clay of Roland Garros had remained elusive. 3 times a finalist, 3 times a loser. All at the hands of Rafael Nadal.
There's a positive side knowing that I've been there so many times that, if I keep giving myself chances, you hopefully come through once. But at the same time, it's like, all right, I've been so close so many times. How many chances do I really get?
But in 2009, there would be a seismic shift in the history of the French Open, and no record 5th consecutive title for Nadal. Instead, the unheralded Robin Soderling created one of the shocks of the season, eliminating the Spaniard from the tournament he has dominated so completely. With his nemesis gone, Federer was presented with an opportunity of a lifetime. The question was, could he grasp it? In the semi-final, Juan Martín del Potro played the immovable object to Federer's irresistible force. It took a 5-set epic to finally wear down the big serving Argentinian. In the final, Federer would face Nadal's conqueror, Robin Söderling.
In the second set, I, had maybe a few little chances early on, but then couldn't really quite seal the deal there, but then played one of the most incredible tiebreakers I've ever played in my life.
Federer demonstrated why he is, for so many, the greatest player of all time. Söderling found himself on the receiving end of 4 aces as Federer took the second set and turned the match in his favor.
And this is when I knew, I have to win this tournament. In the end, when it was all over, it's so emotional. It's such a relief, such happiness. It's hard to explain in words. The picture shows it all. It's almost disbelief.
I think everyone felt for Roger in these losses, and they're pulling for him, and especially the people in Paris, because even I felt that a little bit as I was playing my career. As I get older, they sort of push for you. They want you to win.
Everywhere I went in the city, everybody was like, "You got to win this year." They would, the taxi drivers would scream out. The people on the Vespa, would always say, "Hey, you gotta win this year." In the restaurants, they would be supporting me. So when I came through, and the crowds were so happy for me, one of the best moments in my life.
"15 days after winning that elusive French Open title, a relaxed Federer strolled purposefully into the All-England club, seeking a 6th Wimbledon singles crown.
Do you know when he...
Yes, sure. Yeah, you got married yesterday.
My dad, he is his colleague.
Oh, really? Excellent. All right. A little bit like my home. When I come back to a tennis tournament, I feel most welcome, most happy, basically, at Wimbledon. And the moment also I played my first match, I felt great, and I knew it could be a very good tournament for me.
Despite the withdrawal through injury of defending champion Rafael Nadal, Federer still had a job to do. A career Grand Slam had been completed in Paris. Now, he was aiming to become the greatest ever male collector of Grand Slam titles. At his favored event, and on the center court he has come to regard as a second home, Federer applied himself to the task with a singular purpose. In the opening 6 rounds, Wimbledon debutants and seasoned professionals came and were duly dispatched. A dazzling display of total tennis. Federer demonstrated his full array of shot-making and movement. Federer strode into his 7th Wimbledon final with the loss of just a single set. His opponent there would be a familiar one. Andy Roddick had rediscovered all the form that had once made him world #1. For the 3rd time, Federer would face the big serving American in the Wimbledon final.
I knew it was going to be a tough match. Never did I think it was going to last that long.
Federer had a date with destiny. But there was more than a little resistance from the USA. Just as in their encounter 5 years previously, it was Roddick who took the opening set.
Roddick served great, he was moving great, he was outplaying Roger for the first 2 sets.
Roddick racked up 4 set points. Federer had to summon a response. All year, Roddick had only lost 4 tiebreaks. But during the most significant decider of the season, he started to waver. Federer exerted the pressure. 4 set points saved, and now the advantage was with the Swiss. Although Federer dropped only 2 points on serve during the entire third set, another tiebreak was required. This time, the outcome was only briefly in doubt. Federer had never lost a major final when leading 2-1. But at that moment, statistics were just a meaningless distraction to an inspired Roddick. 2 sets all.
You are prepared for 5 sets, but not this far. I've never played this long of a match in my career. This is gonna just be one of those matches. We're gonna be growing beards. We're gonna be there for a week or so, and we're not gonna be able to break each other.
If you don't capitalize it on grass, that one moment, man, he could just turn like that.
I had the feeling he was getting sort of tired, so maybe that helped me to believe him and stronger that I could come through at the very, very end.
But all classics must end sometime. In the 30th game of a monumental 5th set, Roddick's serve finally weakened. Before the watching legends of the game, Federer had his championship point.
I was able to come through in the end, and I think the moment when I won was very much you know, a reaction where like, I did it, I can't believe I did it, you know, and it was a very special moment, of course, but at the same time just feeling a little bit sad as well for Andy, because he came so close, he fought so hard.
A record 15th Grand Slam singles title. A collection which had begun on centre court 6 years earlier. The great Pete Sampras's record had finally been overhauled.
I know how much it takes to win 14 majors, and to do it so quickly and to have 15 at 28 now is incredible. And Roger just showed that he has all aspects of being a great champion. He's got the heart, the mind, and the talent, and he does them all very well. But it was just great to be up there with Laver and Borg, and a lot of history there, a lot of majors up in that row of box.
It's amazing to be part of such an elite group, and being part of that greatest, you know, of all time, you know, debate. I definitely have records that show why I could be, why I should, why I shouldn't, you know. So the debate is open, but I think I should be playing as long as I still can, because I still want to play for many more years to come, and then there should be a judgment on how good was I really.
And within 3 weeks of that career-defining moment on court at Wimbledon, Roger and Mirka experienced an even more life-changing fit. In late July, Roger and Mirka welcomed twin girls Mila and Charlene into the world.
I'm still a young father, let's say, but trying my best. You know, Mirka's the best mom I could imagine, and she's doing great work. I'm more the onlooker at the moment, trying to be hands-on as much as I can, and as big of a help as I can be. It's really an amazing feeling to be a father now.
The 2009 season ended with Federer reaching his 4th Grand Slam final of the year and recapturing the title of #1 player in the world for the 5th time in his career. It's been a roller coaster journey from emotional defeat in Australia to record-breaking Grand Slam winner at Wimbledon. Federer now stands alone as the greatest Grand Slam singles champion in men's tennis. And following a fourth title at the Australian Open in 2010, there seems little sign of him slowing down. It's a landmark achievement by a living legend of the game.
I actually watched the video the other day again, you know, of like a whole compilation of where, you know, they showed all the moments when I won, you know, every Grand Slam and lifted every trophy, and definitely sends, you know, chills down my spine, and makes me feel very, very proud and very happy.
You know, he could arguably win another 3 or 4. It's going to be tough, but you know, if he works hard, Roger, he'll do it.
I'm so fortunate to have had so many great moments in my career already, and I know I'm still far from done. So it's really it's a great prospect looking ahead, because I know I'll you know, achieve many more great things, but already have so many in the bag. So it's a really nice feeling.
Spirit of a champion in association with Rolex.